What is going on, folks? Riddick here. This is your WWE news for October 3rd, 2022. We also got some Extreme Rules predictions for you. We're going to kick things off with the little bit of WWE news here. This is revolving around Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes. As reported by Fightful Select, Cody Rhodes... Warner Brothers Discovery made attempts to retain Cody Rhodes in AEW. The report has more details on Cody's exit from AEW, specifically the attempts that were made to retain him. Warner Brothers Discovery sources note that several efforts were made within the company to keep Cody in AEW, as they had developed a good relationship after working with him for Rhodes to the Top and Go Big Show, and would have loved for him to stay. When a high-ranking official with TNT TBS reached out to Rhodes to gauge his interest in staying, Cody told him that it was just simply time to leave the territory. No ill will feelings on either side, but he said it's just time to go. As for Brandy, we know that she worked at least one match for the WWE in the Performance Center. She remains unsigned by the company and technically a free agent. She has not had any contact with AEW since leaving with Cody, but Warner Brothers Discovery did reach out to her last month, though it's unknown what the subject of the interaction was about. The relationship between the two is said to be cordial. Take that for what it's worth. I think that at some point you would think that WWE is going to sign her to some kind of contract, right? Moving on, we have some news on Max Dupree, which we kind of figured was going to happen after we seen what happened on SmackDown. But Pro Wrestling Insider is reporting that, as we have suspected, he will indeed be back as LA Knight, ASAP. Internally, he is already back to being listed as such on the company's internal roster. So he will be back to his former gimmick going forward. So this is like imminently happening. It could be as soon as this SmackDown on Friday, which would be fantastic because this whole Max Dupree thing is just an absolute waste of time for a talent like LA Knight, Eli Drake, whatever you want to call him. LA Knight, just to bring that guy up and do this with him after we all seen what he could do as a wrestler in the company, as a performer in the company, not a manager or any of this nonsense. L.A. Knight is where it's at, baby, So thank God for that. Now, here's the thing that I kind of disagree with, but apparently the Maximum Male Models will continue with Maxine as the group's leader or manager, whatever you want to call it. I think that's a huge waste of time unless they have some other kind of way they're going to package these guys. It's just ridiculous at this point, and I don't know why you would continue with it, but they're going to continue with it. But hey, it's another tag team, right? I guess it's a tag team for a tag division that's been really horrible. Triple H is going to try to build up that tag division again. It's another tag team, although not that great of one, but we'll see what happens. But that will continue on. And then the last bit of WWE news I'm going to go over right now is Raquel Rodriguez was in an interview with NBC Sports Boston's 10 Count. And this is being reported by Wrestling Inc. here, where she actually would like to see a mid-card title in the women's division. Now, of course, if they do this, they clearly were looking at what AEW is doing with their women's division and having a mid-card title, even though it's barely ever featured. And I don't think the women's division in WWE needs more titles. We already have the tag titles that they're struggling to book correctly. Even Triple H is having a hard time with these women's tag team titles. The problem is you don't have enough women's tag teams. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But Raquel Rodriguez apparently wants more titles, because here's what she says in this interview. I think another championship would be something so great for the women's division, especially because we have so much diversity in the women's division. I think having an Intercontinental Championship or a North American Championship for the women would be a huge leap forward for the women's division and wrestling in general. I don't know about that. She says, I do feel like it's something that is possible and is something that could possibly be happening in the near future. So I'm looking forward to that and possibly making new history. I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. I don't think they need another. I really don't think they need another title in the women's division. I got to be honest. It's going to be overkill. You don't have enough women as it is. You still need, women tag teams for these tag team titles that are going to be a thing. We're starting to see little bits of that. Of course, you have plenty. You have several actually in NXT that could be called up for that. But I don't know. I think it'll be overkill for the women's division if you go and put another secondary title in the women's division. But hey, who knows? Maybe it could work, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get into our Extreme Rules predictions. All right. Let's run down the match card. Now there's 6 matches. By the end of this week, we could have a 7th match added, but I don't think so because Triple H likes to keep things nice and compact and streamlined, quality over quantity, right? So far, 6 matches, and I think that's what we'll get. Starting off with the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between the Brawling Brutes versus an Imperium. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that my prediction is the Brawling Brutes will get the victory simply because Sheamus or Gunther do not have to be pinned in order for the victory to happen, obviously. So I'm going to go with the Brawling Brutes on this one because I seriously don't think Sheamus is going to win the Intercontinental title on SmackDown this Friday. So my prediction is Brawling Brutes get the victory there. The strap match with Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. I'm going to have to go with Karrion Kross on this one. He just came in. You want to make him look strong. You don't want to repeat what happened with him last time, and we're already on the right track with him. He should definitely not be losing this match. And it may be something where we see some kind of involvement, maybe from Bray Wyatt. I don't know. There's another match where we may see that as well, but I'm going to go ahead and say Karrion Kross because he can't lose this match. He just came in. You're building him up the right way this time, so he can't be losing. Drew McIntyre is bulletproof. He'll be fine. But Karrion Kross desperately needs this win, so I'm going Karrion Kross. I Quit match between Edge versus Finn Balor. Now, a lot of people are going to say Edge is going to win this. I don't think he should. I think Finn Balor should win this, especially from the reports we've been hearing about Finn Balor getting this push, and he's going to be a main key player and going forward in the future of the company. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go with Finn Balor. I'm going to go with Finn Balor gets this win on Edge. And then it's going to be some kind of craziness, probably with Judgment Day and other kinds of craziness happening to really make it so that you have no choice but to accept the fact that Edge is going to say, I quit. I don't know how they get there. It would be kind of crazy for Edge to lose and have to say, I quit. But I think we need to make it happen, man. We're building up the future here, right? Even though Finn Balor is obviously a veteran, but his group is the future. The people in his group, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic. So I'm going Finn Balor. And then we have the Fight Pit with Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle. And a lot of people will say, Matt Riddle's got to get this win, and maybe he will, because this might be one of the other matches where we see some kind of weirdness go on with the White Rabbit, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt. We may see that. So I'm going to go with Matt Riddle wins this one, okay? I think Matt Riddle needs that win more than Rollins, even though Rollins himself needs to start winning more, okay? But it's just one of those things, man, where it's kind of here and there. So I'm going to go Matt Riddle on this one with some weird funkiness going on, maybe at some point, which obviously we found out that Daniel Cormier is going to be refereeing this match, which is interesting. Then we have the Raw Women's Championship ladder match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. And I think that Bianca's time is up. I think Bayley's going to win, and she's going to take that title, and then you're going to have Damage Control with all the titles, you know, the Raw Women's title and the tag team titles, to make them really start to make them a strong faction, even though they're not clicking with some people. They're not clicking with fans. They're not clicking with some people. It's just weird. But maybe putting, you know, getting all the gold on them, and maybe that'll raise things up a little bit. I have no idea, but I think Bayley gets the win here. Then finally, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship Extreme Rules match. Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Now, we've been seeing on the house shows where Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler have been teaming up. And what I'm thinking is somehow, some crazy way, Liv Morgan retains the title. This is not the popular choice, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Liv Morgan retains the title so that we can build the story of Shayna and Ronda being a tag team. You know how Ronda went up to Shayna and said, "Where's the killer?" and all that stuff, and when Shayna lost her match against Liv and all that. I think it's going to happen here too, where, you know, Ronda loses this match and Shayna goes up to her and says the same kind of thing, you know, and they kind of butt heads with each other because of this. And then instead of working against each other, they decide to work together, and maybe they take over by being a tag team and really dominating the division in that way. Now, if they were a tag team, that's a tag team for the tag team titles where you could really make it legit. Dakota Kai and Io Sky are great at, you know, being a tag team to really bring those titles up. But man, could you imagine Rousey and Baszler being the tag team and taking those titles? Now that could be something. That could be something. So my prediction is Liv Morgan somehow retains. We'll see. But yeah, that's really all I got for you. Just a few little news tidbits, and wanted to go over the Extreme Rules card and give you my little predictions and stuff. And yeah, so got Monday Night Raw tonight. I'll try to be back tomorrow at some point, maybe, with results for you. And then, of course, SmackDown later this week. Now, I'm not covering NXT or AEW, but I will cover those if something big is happening. This week, NXT has the new look or whatever is going to happen, right? Well, I have no idea if it's actually going to be a thing, but they took this whole hiatus, I'm assuming, to do that. So we may come back on and talk about that. But mainly I'm just going to be covering Raw and SmackDown as a weekly thing on here. And I will cover NXT and AEW if something like as big is happening on one of those shows. Just because, you know, I don't have the time to do all that when I have obviously a life that I have to live outside of this. So, but yeah, that's about all I got for you folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all down the road.